Welcome, Autograph Fisherman here, and I have another profile video for you. Today it is Gordie Roberts. He just happens to have 94 trading cards. Born October 2nd, 1957. Detroit, Michigan, U.S. Height 6 feet 0 inches, 183 centimeters. Weight 195 pounds, 88 kilograms, 13 stone, 13 pounds. Position defense. Shot left, played for Hartford Whalers, Minnesota North Stars, Philadelphia Flyers, St. Louis Blues, Pittsburgh Penguins, Boston Bruins. National team, United States. NHL Draft 54th overall, 1977. Montreal Canadiens. Playing career 1975 to 1996. Gordon Dennis Roberts, born October 2nd, 1957, is an American former professional ice hockey defenseman who played 1,097 NHL regular season games from 1979 to 1994. He was a two-time Stanley Cup winner with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is an honored member of the United States Hockey Hall of Fame. His brother Doug Roberts is also a former NHL player. Amateur career. Roberts was named after Detroit Red Wings star Gordie Howe, who was eventually Roberts' teammate in Hartford and grew up playing junior hockey in the Southern Ontario Junior Hockey League for the Detroit Junior Red Wings. Professional career. Roberts was drafted in the third round, 54th overall by the Montreal Canadiens in the 1977 NHL Amateur Draft. His professional career started in 1975 when he was signed as a 17-year-old underage junior by the WHA New England Whalers. He represented the Whalers in the 1977 and 1978 WHA All-Star Game and was still with New England when the NHL and WHA merged in 1979. In 1980, the Whalers traded Roberts to the Minnesota North Stars for Mike Fiedler. He remained a North Star for 8 seasons before moving to the Philadelphia Flyers in 1988, who promptly traded him to the St. Louis Blues after only 11 games. During this time, Roberts also played for Team USA in the 1984 Canada Cup, as well as the 1982 and 1987 Ice Hockey World Championship tournaments. Roberts won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1991 and 1992 and became the first American player to appear in 1,000 NHL games in 1992. He played for the Boston Bruins during his final 2 years in the NHL, then played 2 more seasons in the International Hockey League before finally retiring at age 39 in 1996, the last of Gordie Howe's old NHL teammates still on the ice. Incredibly, Howe himself still wasn't done as a player, making a cameo appearance with the IHL's Detroit Vipers in 1997 at the age of 69. Post-playing career, Roberts served as a player/coach of the 1994 to 95 International Hockey League Chicago Wolves, as well as the assistant coach of the Phoenix Coyotes for the 1998 and 1999 seasons. In recent years, he has worked as a pro scout for the Montreal Canadiens, specializing in Western Canada and the Western U.S. In 2012, Roberts became the head coach for the Elk River High School boys hockey team in Elk River, Minnesota. For the 2017 to 2018 season, he was an assistant coach for the Maple Grove Senior High School Crimson boys hockey team. Awards and achievements. Inducted into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame in 1999. Played in 1977 and 1978 WHA All-Star Game. 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 1991-1992. Well, that was another profile video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about Gordie Roberts, let me know them in the comments. I would like to read them. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, until next time, keep on collecting. Bye. Hello, Autograph Fisherman here, and I have a profile video for you. Today at Jack McKeon, manager, born November 23rd, 1930, South Amboy, New Jersey, U.S. Batted right, through right, MLB debut, April 6, 1973, for the Kansas City Royals. Last MLB appearance, September 28, 2011, for the Florida Marlins. MLB statistics. Games managed 2,042. Managerial record 1,051, win 990 lose. Winning percent .515 teams. Kansas City Royals 1973 to 1975. Oakland Athletics 1977-1978. San Diego Padres 1988 to 1990. Cincinnati Reds 1997 to 2000. Florida Marlins 2003 to 2005, 2011. Career highlights and awards. World Series champion 2003. 2 times NL Manager of the Year 1999, 2003. San Diego Padres Hall of Fame. John Aloysius McKeon, born November 23, 1930, nicknamed Trader Jack, is an American former Major League Baseball manager and front office executive. In 2003, at age 72, he won a World Series as manager of the Florida Marlins. 2 full seasons removed from his previous managing job, McKeon had begun the 2003 season in retirement, but on May 11th, he was induced to return to uniform to replace Jeff Torborg as the Marlins skipper. The team was 16-22 and in next to last place in the National League East Division. Described upon his hiring by Marlins general manager Larry Bienfest as a resurrection specialist, McKeon led the Marlins to a 75-49 win-loss record, a wild card berth, victories over the San Francisco Giants and Chicago Cubs in the National League Divisional and Championship Series playoffs, and then a 6-game World Series triumph over the New York Yankees. He remained at the helm of the Marlins through 2005, then retired at age 74. In 2011, he took over the Marlins on June 20th for a second time as interim manager, following the resignation of Edwin Rodriguez, and served out the season. In so doing, he became, at 80, the second oldest manager in big league history, behind only Connie Mack. He retired again at the end of the season with a career managerial record of 1,051,990, 1.515. McKeon previously managed the Kansas City Royals, 1973 to 1975, Oakland Athletics, parts of both 1977 and 1978, San Diego Padres, 1988 to 1990, and Cincinnati Reds, 1997 to 2000. From July 7, 1980, through September 22, 1990, he served as the general manager of the Padres, assembling the team which won the 1984 National League pennant, the first in franchise history. Early life and education. Born and raised in South Amboy, New Jersey, McKeon attended St. Mary's High School, later renamed as Cardinal McCarrick High School. He played baseball for the College of the Holy Cross and also attended Seton Hall University and Elon College, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in physical education. Career. Minor league player and manager. McKeon was a 5 feet 8 inches, 1.73 meters, 195 pounds, 88 kilograms, catcher who threw and batted right-handed. He spent his entire early professional career, 1949 to 64, in the minor leagues. He became a playing manager in 1955 at age 24, and then worked in the farm system of the original, modern-era Washington Senators franchise and its successor, the Minnesota Twins, handling AAA assignments for the Vancouver Mounties, 1962, Dallas-Fort Worth Rangers, 1963, and Atlanta Crackers, opening day through June 21, 1964. McKeon then scouted for the Twins starting in mid-1964 before joining the Royals in 1968, 1 year before their Major League debut, as skipper of their class, a High Point Thomasville farm team, where he won the Carolina League playoff championship. He led their AAA affiliate, the Omaha Royals of the American Association, from its founding in 1969 through 1972 and won 2 league titles. Manager of Royals and Athletics. McKeon, then 42, was promoted to manager of the Kansas City Royals for 1973, succeeding Bob Lemon. The 1972 Royals had gone a disappointing 76-78 during the strike-shortened season and moved into brand-new Royals Stadium in 1973. paced by the slugging of first baseman John Mayberry, an all-star performance from center fielder Amos Otis, and the 20-win season of left-hander Paul Splitorf. McKeon's 1973 club finished with a record of 88 wins and 74 losses for a .543 winning percentage. It was the best record yet compiled by the five-year-old franchise, 6 games behind the eventual world champion Oakland Athletics in the AL West, and the 4th best mark in the American League. The 1973 Royals also saw the mid-August call-up of 20-year-old George Brett, the future Hall of Famer. But the 1974 Royals could not sustain that momentum and finished 77 to 85.475, next to last in the AL West. McKeon's relationship with some of the players soured late in the campaign after his demand that hitting coach Charlie Lau be relieved of his duties resulted in the latter's reassignment to the minor leagues. 2 months after primary starting pitcher Steve Busby threatened to quit the team, McKeon was fired and replaced by California Angels third base coach Whitey Herzog on July 24, 1975. At the time, the Royals were in second place, but trailed the defending and eventual division champion Athletics by 11 games. Herzog led Kansas City to 3 successive AL West titles, 1976-78, and in the 1980s, he would become one of McKeon's trading partners when both were general managers in the National League. McKeon spent 1976 back in the minor leagues as skipper of the Richmond Braves of the International League. At season's end, he was named to succeed Chuck Tanner as manager of the 1977 Oakland Athletics during a time when meddlesome team owner Charlie Finley was trading away veteran talent in anticipation of free agency. Nevertheless, McKeon had led the stripped-down 1977 A's to a respectable 26-27 mark by June 8th, only 6 games out of first place in the AL West, when Finley shocked baseball by replacing him with Bobby Winkles. McKeon remained in the Oakland organization, initially as an assistant to Finley for the rest of 1977, while the A's struggled under Winkles, going 37-71. Then in 1978, McKeon returned to uniform as one of Winkles' coaches. History repeated itself when the undermanned A's roared off to a 19-5 start. They were still in first place at 24-15 on May 21st when Winkles resigned because of Finley's constant second-guessing and criticism of his job performance. McKeon then returned to the manager's post and finished the 1978 season, with Oakland winning only 45 of 123 games and falling into 6th place in the 7-team AL West. Fired again by Finley, McKeon departed the Oakland organization to manage the Denver Bears, AAA affiliate of the Montreal Expos, in 1979. General manager Padres. McKeon in 1982. McKeon then moved from the field into the front office. He began the 1980 season as the top assistant to Bob Fontaine, the general manager of the San Diego Padres. During the 1980 All-Star break, with the Padres in last place in the National League West Division, owner Ray Kroc and club president Ballard Smith fired Fontaine and replaced him with McKeon, making him a first-time general manager at the age of 49. During his first off-season, he set about rebuilding the Padres through a flurry of trades, earning his Trader Jack nickname. He began by acquiring young catcher Terry Kennedy from Herzog's St. Louis Cardinals in an 11-player deal. Over the next 4 off-seasons, he would also trade for Dave Dravicki, Gary Templeton, Carmelo Martinez, and Greg Nettles, draft young stars Tony Gwynn and Kevin McReynolds, and sign free agents Steve Garvey and Goose Gossage, the core of San Diego's 1984 National League champions. In June 1989, he traded his own son-in-law, pitcher Greg Booker. He told the New York Times in 1988, "Why do I trade? I'm aggressive. I'm confident. I'm a gambler. I'm willing to make a trade and not be afraid I'll get nailed." Manager of Padres and Reds. McKeon stayed in the front office through the terms of 4 different managers. When the 4th skipper, Larry Bowa, started 1988 at 16-30, McKeon took over the managerial reins himself on May 28th. He led the Padres to a 67-48 mark for the rest of 1988 and an 89-73 record in 1989. But when his 1990 Padres stalled at 37-43 at the All-Star break, McKeon turned the team over to coach Greg Riddick. Slightly more than 2 months later, he was ousted from the general manager's job when the Padres' new owner, Tom Werner, hired Joe McIlvaine away from the New York Mets. McKeon was out of baseball in 1991-92 before joining the Cincinnati Reds in 1993 as a major league scout and then senior advisor for player personnel, working under GM Jim Bowden. He was in his 4th season in the latter job on July 25, 1997, when at age 66 he was asked to return to the field as the replacement for Ray Knight as the club's manager. The Reds were 43-56 and 9 games out in the National League Central Division, but McKeon coaxed them to a 33-30 mark for the rest of the season. He then survived a poor 1998 campaign, with Cincinnati again posting a sub-.500 77-85 record and finishing 25 games out of first place in its division, though the Reds had lost talent from previous years and were actually considered to have overachieved. McKeon turned the Reds around in 1999, leading them to 96 wins and a tie for the National League wild card through the full 162-game season. However, the Reds were defeated 5-0 by the Mets in a 1-game playoff held in their home ballpark, Synergy Field, and were eliminated from the postseason. Nevertheless, McKeon was named 1999 NL Manager of the Year for his achievement. On the eve of 2000 spring training, the Reds electrified their fans by acquiring superstar center fielder Ken Griffey Jr., a Cincinnati native and son of the Reds coach and former star, in a trade with the Seattle Mariners. Griffey hit 40 home runs, but the Reds posted a disappointing 85-77 record and finished 10 games behind the Cardinals. After the season ended, McKeon was relieved of his managerial duties. Called to manage the Marlins, McKeon was again named National League Manager of the Year in 2003, the result of leading the Marlins, who were 6 games below .500 when he took over on May 11th, to a 75-49 record the rest of the way. The Marlins proceeded to win the National League pennant and were then victorious in the World Series, defeating the New York Yankees in 6 games. At age 72, McKeon became the oldest manager to win the World Series. The victory came against a team for which he rooted in his youth, having lived in South Amboy, New Jersey, and attending Yankee games while a child. Perhaps not surprisingly, McKeon called Game 6 his greatest thrill of his career. McKeon would lead the Marlins to the exact same record and division finish in 83-79 that was good for 3rd in the NL East in 2004 and 2005, although McKeon was the first manager to have led the Marlins to consecutive winning seasons. On September 3rd of the 2005 season, McKeon won his 1,000th game as a manager, defeating the New York Mets at Dolphins Stadium 5-4. On October 2nd, just after the Marlins won the last game of the 2005 season, McKeon announced that he would not be returning the following season. McKeon led the Marlins to 3 of the 6 winning seasons in franchise history, but the Marlins were undertaking a rebuilding process, exchanging for veterans for improving youngsters, and there was a consensus within the organization that a managerial change was in order. On June 20th, 2011, after manager Edwin Rodriguez resigned, the Florida Marlins held a press conference to announce that McKeon had been named interim manager. "I don't need this job, but I love it," McKeon said. The Marlins were on a 10-game losing streak at the time McKeon took over, and the team had won exactly 1 game in the month of June. With McKeon, he would lead them to exactly 4 more wins in that month. He retired after the conclusion of the 2011 season. Over the course of the remaining 90 games, McKeon won 40 to lead the team to a 72-90 finish and last in the NL East. McKeon retired with a record of 1,051,991. He is one of 12 managers to have 1,000 wins as manager without having lost 1,000 as well. He is also the only manager to have won at least 1,000 games in the major and minor leagues, having won 1,146 in the minors. Personal life. McKeon currently lives in Elon, North Carolina. Prior to his latest managerial stint, He was serving as a special assistant to Florida Marlins owner Jeffrey Loria. McKeon is a devout Catholic and attends daily Mass, even doing so while his team was traveling during his managerial career. He attributes much of his success, especially the Marlins' win in the 2003 National League Championship Series, to the intercession of Saint Teresa of Lisieux. In 1950, McKeon enlisted in the United States Air Force and played for the baseball team at Sampson Air Force Base in New York. McKeon is the author of 2 books, Jack of All Trades and I'm Just Getting Started. McKeon's son, Casey, was a minor league catcher from 1989 to 1991 before becoming a scout. As of 2018, he is a director of player procurement of the Washington Nationals. Jack McKeon's grandson, Kellen, is a 2-time state champion wrestler for Chapel Hill High School and was the captain of the wrestling team at Duke University. McKeon has another grandson, Avery Booker, who is the head baseball coach for Greensboro College in Greensboro, North Carolina. On May 5, 2012, McKeon was inducted into the Fulton County Baseball and Sports Hall of Fame for his achievements with the Gloversville-Johnstown Glovers, in which he played for in 1950 and 1951 in Gloversville, New York. On Tuesday, May 26, 2015, McKeon was inducted into the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame, along with former Royals slugger Mike Sweeney, broadcaster Dave O'Brien, New York Mets public relations executive Shannon Ford, and Bill Murray, the comedic actor and owner of several minor league baseball teams. In 2017, McKeon was elected into the Padres Hall of Fame. Well, that was another profile video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about Jack McKeon, let me know in the comments. I like to read them. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, until next time, keep one collecting. Bye.
Hello, Autograph Fisherman here, and I have another profile video for you. Today it's Kirk Muller. Born February 8, 1966. Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Height 6 feet 0 inches, 183 centimeters. Weight 205 pounds, 93 kilograms, 14 stone 9 pounds. Position center. Shot left. Played for New Jersey Devils, Montreal Canadiens, New York Islanders, Toronto Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers, Dallas Stars. Coached for Carolina Hurricanes, National Team Canada, NHL Draft 2nd overall, 1984, New Jersey Devils. Playing career 1984 to 2003. Coaching career 2005 to present. In 1,349 career game, he scored 357 goals, 602 assists, 959 points, and 1,223 penalty minutes. In 127 career playoff games, he scored 33 goals, 36 assists, 69 points, and 153 penalty minutes. Kirk Christopher Muller, born February 8, 1966, is a Canadian former professional ice hockey center and current assistant coach with the Washington Capitals of the National Hockey League. He played in the NHL for 19 seasons from 1984 to 85 until 2002-03 with the Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers, New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders, Toronto Maple Leafs, and won the Stanley Cup in 1993 as member of the Montreal Canadiens. Muller also previously served as head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes from 2011 to 2014 and was an associate coach with the Canadiens from 2016 to 2021 following a previous stint as assistant coach with the team between 2006 to 2011. Playing career. Muller started his junior career with the Kingston Canadians of the Ontario Hockey League, but his most successful junior seasons were with the Guelph Platers. There was a dispute in 1984 between the Platers and the Canadian Olympic team, who wanted Muller to play with them at the 1984 Winter Olympics. The Platers owner was upset over losing Muller for so much time, but eventually they came to an agreement and Muller played in the Olympics. He was drafted 2nd overall by the New Jersey Devils in the 1984 NHL entry draft behind Mario Lemieux. Captain Kirk was the heart and soul of the Devils franchise, with his intensity and strong two-way play. However, although New Jersey had a surprisingly successful run in the 1988 playoffs, they never became a serious Stanley Cup contender while Muller was with them. After walking out of training camp on September 16, 1991, over a contract dispute, he was traded along with Roland Melanson to the Montreal Canadiens for Stephen Richer and Tom Chorsk on September 20th. Muller quickly became a fan favorite in Montreal, and he helped them win the Stanley Cup in 1993. He was traded to the New York Islanders during the 1994-95 NHL season. Initially, he was reluctant to report to the Islanders, then played a handful of games in an uninterested manner before team management decided that his poor attitude outweighed his potential contributions on the ice and barred him from the team. Eventually, the Islanders recalled Muller, but he refused to report, freeing the Islanders from their contractual obligations to pay him. Ultimately, Muller was traded at a discount to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a three-team trade that saw Muller and Don Beaupre go to the Maple Leafs, Martin Straka, Ken Bellinger, and the rights to Brian Berard go to the Islanders, while Damian Rhodes and the rights to Wade Redden went to the Ottawa Senators. Muller had his last 20-goal season with the Maple Leafs the next season, but he was traded to the Florida Panthers for prospect Jason Podolin as the Leafs fell out of the playoff picture. Muller struggled in Florida, scoring just 4 goals in the whole 1998-99 NHL season. His last break came when he signed with the Dallas Stars in the middle of the 1999-2000 season. Even though his scoring touch of old almost completely evaporated, he still managed to be a strong role player with the Stars for 4 seasons and was part of the grumpy old men line that included Mike Keane and John McClain. He retired at the end of the 2002-03 season. Muller played in 6 NHL All-Star games, 1985, 1986, 1988, 1990, 1992, 1993. Coaching career. Muller began his coaching career with the Queen's University Golden Gaels in his hometown of Kingston. During 2005 to 2006, Muller's Golden Gaels posted an 8-13-1-2 record in the Ontario University Athletics Conference. Muller also held the title of assistant coach to Mark Habskeed with Team Canada, winning the gold medal at the 2005 Lotto Cup tournament in Slovakia. In March 2006, he served as assistant coach to Greg Gilbert at the Under-18 World Championship. Muller returned to the Montreal Canadiens on June 20, 2006, when he was named assistant coach of the Canadiens. On June 27, 2011, the Nashville Predators announced that Muller had been hired as the head coach of their AHL affiliate, the Milwaukee Admirals. On November 28, 2011, Muller became coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, taking over for Paul Maurice. On May 5, 2014, Muller was relieved of his coaching duties by the Carolina Hurricanes. On May 13, 2014, Muller was signed by the St. Louis Blues as an assistant coach. On June 2, 2016, the Montreal Canadiens rehired Muller as an associate coach. On August 13, 2020, Muller temporarily replaced head coach Claude Julien, who was hospitalized with chest pains. On February 24, 2021, Muller along with head coach Claude Julien were fired from the Canadiens and former assistant coach Dominique Ducharme took over as interim head coach. On June 10, 2021, Kirk Muller was named an associate coach for the Calgary Flames under head coach Daryl Sutter. He was named an assistant coach for the Washington Capitals on July 20, 2023. Records. New Jersey Devils franchise record for points in a single game, 6. October 29, 1986. New Jersey Devils franchise record for assists in a single game, 5. March 25, 1987. So that is another player profile. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about Kirk Muller, put them in the comments. I would love to read them. Anyways, like, share, and subscribe. As always, until next time, keep on collecting. Bye.
Hello, John here, Autograph Fisherman, and I have a profile video for you. Today it's Hubie McDonough. Born July 8, 1963. Manchester, New Hampshire, U.S. Height 5 feet 9 inches, 175 centimeters. Weight 180 pounds, 82 kilograms, 12 stone 12 pounds. Position center. Shot left. Played for Los Angeles Kings, New York Islanders, San Jose Sharks. NHL draft undrafted. Playing career 1986 to 2002. Hubert Boniface McDonough, born July 8, 1963, is an American professional ice hockey executive and former player. He played in the National Hockey League between 1988 and 1993 with the Los Angeles Kings, New York Islanders, and San Jose Sharks. He is a member of the New Hampshire Hockey Hall of Fame, one-eye joining his father and brother. 570 career IHL games, 246 goals, 336 assists, 582 points, 380 penalty minutes, 100 career IHL playoff games, 32 goals, 58 assists, 90 points, 48 penalty minutes, 195 career NHL games, 40 goals, 26 assists, 66 points, 67 penalty minutes, 5 NHL playoff games, 1 goal, no assists, 1 point, 4 penalty minutes. Playing career. After playing 4 seasons of NCAA Division II hockey at St. Anselm College in Goffstown, New Hampshire, McDonough made his professional debut with the International Hockey League's Flint Spirits in the 1986-87 season. McDonough made the National Hockey League in the 1988-89 season, playing in 4 games with the Los Angeles Kings. Hubie McDonough was nominated as a finalist for the Hobey Baker Award his junior year at St. Anselm College 1984-1985. McDonough played 22 more games with the Kings in the 1989-90 season before being traded to the New York Islanders, along with Ken Baumgartner, in exchange for Mikko Mikela. After McDonough played 139 games with the Islanders over 3 seasons, they traded him to the San Jose Sharks for cash before the 1992-93 season. McDonough played 30 games with the Sharks that season and then spent the remainder of his career in the minor leagues. 7 seasons in the IHL, including 4 with the Orlando Solar Bears, and 5 games of the 2001-02 season in the American Hockey League with his hometown Manchester Monarchs. In his NHL career, McDonough appeared in 195 games. He scored 40 goals and added 26 assists. He also appeared in 5 playoff games with the Islanders in 1990, scoring 1 goal. Management career. McDonough was the director of hockey operations for the Manchester Monarchs of the American Hockey League beginning in 2001. He held the same position with the Orlando Solar Bears of the International Hockey League for the 2001 season, when the team won the Turner Cup. He also was an assistant coach for the Manchester Monarchs in the 2014-2015 season. Well, that is another profile video done. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts about Hubie McDonough, let me know in the comments. I would like to read them. So like, share, and subscribe. And as always, till next time, keep on collecting. Bye.
John here, Autograph Fisherman, and I have another profile video for you. Today, it is Dave McElwain, born June 9th, 1967, Seaforth, Ontario, Canada. Height 6 feet 0 inches, 183 centimeters. Weight 185 pounds, 84 kilograms, 13 stone 3 pounds. Position center/right wing. Shot left. Played for Pittsburgh Penguins, Winnipeg Jets, New York Islanders, Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, EV Landshut, SC Bern, Colner Hay. NHL Draft 172nd overall, 1986. Pittsburgh Penguins. Playing career 1987 to 2009. 495 career DEL games. 169 goals. 295 assists. 464 points, 743 penalty minutes, 61 career DEL playoff games, 15 goals, 44 assists, 59 points, 143 penalty minutes, 501 career NHL games, 100 goals, 107 assists, 207 points, 292 penalty minutes, 20 career NHL playoff games, no goals, 2 assists, 2 points, 8 penalty minutes. David Allen McWayne, born June 9, 1967, is a Canadian former professional ice hockey player. McWayne is best known for playing for a record 4 National Hockey League teams, the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, in one season during the 1991-92 season. This record is shared with Dennis O'Brien, Mark Arcobello, and Jussi Jokinen. He also holds the NHL record for the most consecutive consonants at the start of a surname. Dave McWayne played junior hockey in the Ontario Hockey League with the Kitchener Rangers and North Bay Centennials. In his final year of junior, he scored 46 goals and 119 points and represented Canada at the 1987 World Junior Ice Hockey Championships, famous for the punch-up in Peastony Brawl in the final game. McWayne was drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins in the 9th round, 172nd overall, in the 1986 NHL entry draft. During his NHL career, McWayne bounced around from team to team frequently. He played for the Penguins twice, the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders twice, the Buffalo Sabres, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Ottawa Senators. He played his final game in the NHL on March 29, 1997, for the Islanders against the Bruins, a game in which he recorded 1 assist. He finished his NHL career with 100 goals and 107 assists in 501 games. McWayne moved to Europe in 1997, playing for EV Landshut. He then played 2 seasons for SC Bern before joining Colnahay, where he ended his career in March 2009 after playing 9 seasons with the club. Transactions. June 17, 1989, traded from Pittsburgh Penguins with Randy Cunneyworth and Rick Tabaracci to Winnipeg Jets for Randy Gilhen, Jim Kite, and Andrew McBain. October 11, 1991, traded from Winnipeg Jets with Gord Donnelly and a 5th-round pick in the 1992 draft, Yuri Khmylev, to Buffalo Sabres for Mike Hartman, Dean Kennedy, and Darren Shannon. October 25, 1991, traded from Buffalo Sabres with Benoit Hogue, Uwe Krupp, and Pierre Turgeon to New York Islanders for Randy Hillier, Pat LaFontaine, and Randy Wood. March 10, 1992, traded from New York Islanders with Ken Baumgartner to Toronto Maple Leafs for Claude Loisel and Daniel Marois. October 3, 1993, claimed in the 1993 NHL waiver draft by the Ottawa Senators from the Toronto Maple Leafs. March 1, 1996, traded from Ottawa Senators to Pittsburgh Penguins for 8th-round pick, Eric Goldman, in the 1996 draft. July 29, 1996, signed as a free agent by New York Islanders. Well, that is another player profile I hope you enjoyed. If you have any memories of Dave McWayne, let me know in the comments. I would like to read them. Well, as always, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep on collecting. Bye.
John here, Autograph Fisherman, and I have a profile video for you. Today it is Larry Melnick, born February 21st, 1960. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Height 6 feet 0 inches, 183 centimeters. Weight 181 pounds, 82 kilograms. 12 stone, 13 pounds. Position defense. Shot left. Played for Boston Bruins, Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, Vancouver Canucks, NHL Draft 78th overall, 1979, Boston Bruins, Playing career 1980 to 1990. 432 career games. 11 goals. 63 assists. 74 points. 686 penalty minutes. 66 career playoff games. 2 goals. 9 assists. 11 points. 127 penalty minutes. Larry Joseph Melnyk, born February 21, 1960, is a Canadian former professional ice hockey player. He played in the National Hockey League for the Boston Bruins, Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and Vancouver Canucks in a career that lasted from 1980 to 1990. With the Oilers, he won the Stanley Cup in 1984 and 1985. Prior to turning professional, Melnyk played Major Junior for the new Westminster Bruins of the Western Hockey League, winning the 1978 Memorial Cup with them. He was selected by Boston in the 1979 NHL entry draft. Internationally, Melnyk played for Canada at the 1979 World Junior Championship. He was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Melnyk started his National Hockey League career with the Boston Bruins in 1980. He also played for the Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and Vancouver Canucks. He left the NHL after the 1990 season. Melnyk won 2 Stanley Cup rings with Edmonton in 1984 and 1985. In 1984, he spent the whole regular season in the minors. He was called up and played 6 playoff games. His name was not engraved on the cup because he had not played enough games to qualify. Melnyk joined Edmonton full-time midway to the 1985 season. He played in the final and his name was engraved on the cup that season. I hope you enjoyed this profile video. If you have any memories of Larry Melnyk, put them in the comments. I like to hear them. Anyways, as always, like, share, and subscribe, and keep on collecting. Bye.
Dennis Rodman personal information. Born May 13, 1961. Age 63. Trenton, New Jersey, U.S. Listed height 6 feet 7 inches, 2.01 meters. Listed weight 228 pounds, 103 kilograms. Career information. High school South Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas. College. North Central Texas, 1983. Southeastern Oklahoma State, 1983 to 1986. NBA Draft 1986, second round, 27th overall pick. Selected by the Detroit Pistons. Playing career 1986 to 2006. Position power forward/small forward. Number 10, 91, 73, 70. Career history. 1986 to 1993 Detroit Pistons. 1993 to 1995 San Antonio Spurs. 1995 to 1998 Chicago Bulls. 1999 Los Angeles Lakers. 2000 Dallas Mavericks. 2003 to 2004 Long Beach Jam. 2004 Fuerza Regia. 2004 to 2005 Orange County Crush. 2005 Torpan Pojat. 2005 to 2006 Tijuana Dragons. 2006 Brighton Bears. Career highlights and awards. 5 times NBA champion 1989, 1990, 1996 to 1998. 2 times NBA All-Star 1990, 1992. 2 times All-NBA Third Team 1992, 1995. 2 times NBA Defensive Player of the Year 1990, 1991. 7 times NBA All-Defensive First Team, 1989 to 1993, 1995, 1996. NBA All-Defensive Second Team, 1994. 7 times NBA Rebounding Champion, 1992 to 1998. NBA 75th Anniversary Team. Number 10 retired by Detroit Pistons. 3 times NAIA All-American, 1984 to 1986. Career NBA statistics. Points 6,683, 7.3 ppg. Rebounds 11,954, 13.1 rpg. Assists 1,600, 1.8 APG. Dennis Keith Rodman, born May 13, 1961, is an American former professional basketball player. Renowned for his defensive and rebounding abilities, his biography on the official NBA website states that he is arguably the best rebounding forward in NBA history. Nicknamed the Worm, he played for the Detroit Pistons, San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers, and Dallas Mavericks of the National Basketball Association (NBA). Rodman played at the small forward position in his early years before becoming a power forward. He earned NBA All-Defensive First Team honors 7 times and won the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award twice. He also led the NBA in rebounds per game for a record 7 consecutive years and won 5 NBA championships. On April 1, 2011, the Pistons retired Rodman's number 10 jersey, and he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame later that year. In October 2021, Rodman was honored as one of the league's greatest players of all time by being named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team. Rodman experienced an unhappy childhood and was often described as shy and introverted in his early years. After aborting a suicide attempt in 1993, he reinvented himself as a bad boy and became notorious for numerous controversial antics. He repeatedly dyed his hair in artificial colors, had many piercings and tattoos, and regularly disrupted games by clashing with opposing players and officials. He famously wore a wedding dress to promote his 1996 autobiography Bad As I Wanna Be. Rodman also attracted international attention for his visits to North Korea and his subsequent befriending of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in 2013. In addition to being a former professional basketball player, Rodman has appeared in professional wrestling. He was a member of the NWO and fought alongside Hulk Hogan in the main event of 2 Bash at the Beach pay-per-views. In professional wrestling, Rodman was the first ever winner of the Celebrity Championship Wrestling Tournament. He had his own TV show, The Rodman World Tour, and had starring roles in the action films Double Team, 1997, and Simon Says, 1999. He appeared in several reality TV series and was the winner of the $222,000 main prize of the 2004 edition of Celebrity Mole. Rodman was born in Trenton, New Jersey, the son of Shirley and Philander Rodman, Jr., an Air Force enlisted member who later fought in the Vietnam War. When he was young, his father left his family, eventually settling in the Philippines. Rodman has many brothers and sisters. According to his father, he has either 26 or 28 siblings on his father's side. However, Rodman has stated that he is the oldest of a total of 47 children. After his father left, Shirley took many odd jobs to support the family, up to 4 at the same time. 9 in his 1996 biography Bad As I Wanna Be, he expresses his feelings for his father. I haven't seen my father in more than 30 years, so what's there to miss? I just look at it like this. Some man brought me into this world. That doesn't mean I have a father. He would not meet his father again until 2012. Rodman and his 2 sisters, Deborah and Kim, grew up in the Oak Cliff section of Dallas, at the time one of the most impoverished areas of the city. Rodman's mother gave him the nickname, the Worm, for how he wiggles while playing pinball. Rodman was so attached to his mother that he refused to move when she sent him to a nursery when he was 4 years old. According to Rodman, his mother was more interested in his 2 sisters, who were both considered more talented than he was in basketball, and made him a laughingstock whenever he tagged along with them. He felt generally overwhelmed by the all-female household. 15 Deborah and Kim would go on to become All-Americans at Louisiana Tech and Stephen F. Austin, respectively. Deborah won 2 national titles with the Lady Texters. While attending South Oak Cliff High School, Rodman was a gym class student of future Texas A&M basketball coach Gary Blair. Blair coached Rodman's sisters Deborah and Kim, winning 3 state championships. However, Rodman was not considered an athletic standout. According to Rodman, he was unable to hit a layup and was listed in the high school basketball teams, but was either benched or cut from the squads. Measuring only 5 feet 6 inches, 1.68 meters, as a freshman in high school, he also failed to make the football teams and was totally devastated. Detroit Pistons, 1986 to 1993. Early years and first championship, 1986 to 1989. Rodman made himself eligible for the 1986 NBA draft. He was drafted by the Detroit Pistons as the third pick in the second round, 27th overall, joining the rugged team of coach Chuck Daly that was called Bad Boys for their hard-nosed approach to basketball. The squad featured Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars at the guard positions, Adrian Dantley and Sidney Green at forward, and center Bill Laimbeer. Bench players who played more than 15 minutes per game were sixth man Vinnie Johnson and the backup forwards Rick Mahorn and John Salley. Rodman fit well into this ensemble, providing 6.5 points for 0.7 rebounds and some tough defense in 15.0 minutes of playing time per game. Winning 52 games, the Pistons comfortably entered the 1987 playoffs. They swept the Washington Bullets and soundly beat the Atlanta Hawks in 5 games, but bowed out in 7 matches against the arch-rival Boston Celtics in what was called one of the physically and mentally toughest series ever. Rodman feuded with Celtics guard Dennis Johnson and taunted Johnson in the closing seconds when he waved his right hand over his own head. As the Celtics closed out Game 7, Johnson went back to Rodman in the last moments of the game and mimicked his taunting gesture. After the loss, Rodman made headlines by saying Celtics star Larry Bird was overrated because he was white. Larry Bird is overrated in a lot of areas. Why does he get so much publicity? Because he's white. You never hear about a black player being the greatest. Although teammate Thomas supported him, he endured harsh criticism, but avoided being called a racist because, according to him, his own girlfriend Danica Annie Bakes was white. In the following 1987-88 season, Rodman steadily improved his stats, averaging 11.6 points and 8.7 rebounds and starting in 32 of 82 regular season games. The Pistons fought their way into the 1988 NBA Finals and took a 3-2 lead, but lost in 7 games against the Los Angeles Lakers. In Game 6, the Pistons were down by 1 point with 8 seconds to go. Dumars missed a shot, and Rodman just fell short of an offensive rebound and a putback that could have won the title. In Game 7, LA led by 15 points in the fourth quarter, but Rodman's defense helped cut down the lead to 6 with 3:52 minutes to go and to 2 with 1 minute to go. But then, he fouled Magic Johnson, who hit a free throw, missed an ill-advised shot with 39 seconds to go, and the Pistons never recovered. In that year, he and his girlfriend Annie had a daughter they named Alexis. Rodman remained a bench player during the 1988-89 season, averaging 9.0 points and 9.4 rebounds in 27 minutes, yet providing such effective defense that he was voted into the All-Defensive Team, the first of 8 times in his career. He also began seeing more playing time after Adrian Dantley was traded at mid-season to Dallas for Mark Aguirre. In that season, the Pistons finally vanquished their playoffs bane by sweeping the Boston Celtics, then winning in 6 games versus the Chicago Bulls, including scoring champion Michael Jordan, and easily defeating the Lakers 4-0 in the 1989 NBA Finals. Rodman was hampered by back spasms but dominated the boards, grabbing 19 rebounds in Game 3 and providing tough interior defense. Second championship and rebounding titles, 1989 to 1993. In the 1989-90 season, Detroit lost perennial defensive forward Rick Mahorn, who was taken by the Minnesota Timberwolves in that year's expansion draft and ended up on the Philadelphia 76ers when the Pistons could not reacquire him. It was feared that the loss of Mahorn, average in talent, but high on hustle and widely considered a vital cog of the Bad Boys teams, would diminish the Pistons' spirit, but Rodman seamlessly took over his role. Averaging 8.8 points and 9.7 rebounds while starting in the last 43 regular season games, he established himself as the best defensive player in the game, lauded by the NBA for his defense and rebounding skills, which were unparalleled in the league. Rodman's feats drew him his first big individual accolade, the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. He also had a .595 field goal percentage, best in the league. 19 in the 1990 playoffs, the Pistons beat the Bulls again, and in the 1990 NBA Finals, Detroit met the Portland Trail Blazers. Rodman suffered from an injured ankle and was often replaced by Mark Aguirre, but even without his defensive hustle, Detroit beat Portland in 5 games and claimed their second title. During the 1990-91 season, Rodman finally established himself as the starting small forward of the Pistons. He played such strong defense that the NBA said he could shut down any opposing player from point guard to center. After coming off the bench for most of his earlier years, he started in 77 of the 82 regular season games, averaged 8.2 points and 12.5 rebounds, and won his second Defensive Player of the Year award. 19 in the 1991 playoffs, the Pistons were swept by the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bulls went on to win the championship. In the 1991-92 season, Rodman made a remarkable leap in his rebounding. He collected an astounding 18.7 per game, winning his first of 7 consecutive rebounding crowns, along with scoring 9.8 points per game and making his first All-NBA team. 19, his 1,530 season rebounds, the most since Wilt Chamberlain's 1,572 in the 1971-1972 season, have not since been surpassed. Kevin Willis, who grabbed 1,258 boards that same season, came closest. 27, Willis lamented that Rodman had an advantage in winning the rebounding title with his lack of offensive responsibilities. In a March 1992 game, Rodman grabbed a career-high 34 rebounds. 29, however, the aging Pistons were eliminated by the up-and-coming New York Knicks in the first round of the 1992 playoffs. Rodman experienced a tough loss when coach Chuck Daly, whom he had admired as a surrogate father, resigned in May. Rodman skipped the preseason camp and was fined $68,000. 9. The following 1992-93 season was even more tumultuous. Rodman and Annie Bakes, the mother of his daughter Alexis, were divorcing. 30, after a short marriage, an experience which left him traumatized. 31, the Pistons won only 40 games and missed the 1993 playoffs entirely. For years later, in his biography Bad as I Wanna Be, Rodman revealed just how far he had fallen. He had driven to the Palace of Auburn Hills in February 1993 late one night carrying a loaded rifle in his truck, debating whether or not he wanted to continue living. Eventually, he fell asleep in the truck, where he was found by police who had been called to perform a welfare check on Rodman by a friend. It was in that moment that he had an epiphany. I decided that instead of killing myself, I was going to kill the imposter that was leading Dennis Rodman to a place he didn't want to go. So I just said, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it, and be happy doing it. At that moment, I tamed sick my whole life around. I killed the person I didn't want to be. The book was later adapted for a TV movie Bad as I Wanna Be, the Dennis Rodman story. Although he had 3 years and $11.8 million remaining on his contract, Rodman demanded a trade. On October 1, 1993, the Pistons dealt him to the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs, 1993-1995. Playoff upset, 1993-1994. In the 1993-94 season, Rodman joined a Spurs team that was built around perennial All-Star center David Robinson, with a supporting cast of forwards Dale Ellis, Willie Anderson, and guard Vinny Del Negro. On the hardwood, Rodman now was played as a power forward and won his third straight rebounding title, averaging 17.3 boards per game, along with another all-defensive team call-up. 19, living up to his promise of killing the shy imposter and being himself instead, Rodman began to show first signs of unconventional behavior. Before the first game, he shaved his hair and dyed it blonde, which was followed up by stints with red, purple, blue hair, and a look inspired from the film Demolition Man. 18, during the season, he headbutted Stacey King and John Stockton, refused to leave the hardwood once after being ejected, and had a highly publicized affair with Madonna. The only player to whom Rodman related was reserve center Jack Haley, who earned his trust by not being shocked after a visit to a gay bar. However, despite a 55-win season, Rodman and the Spurs did not survive the first round of the 1994 playoffs and bowed out against the Utah Jazz in 4 games. Team conflict and shoulder injury, 1994-1995. In the following 1994-95 season, Rodman clashed with the Spurs front office. He was suspended for the first 3 games, took a leave of absence on November 11th, and was suspended again on December 7th. He finally returned on December 10th after missing 19 games. After joining the team, he suffered a shoulder separation in a motorcycle accident, limiting his season to 49 games. Normally, he would not have qualified for any season records for missing so many games, but by grabbing 823 rebounds, he just surpassed the 800 rebound limit for listing players and won his fourth straight rebounding title by averaging 16.8 boards per game and made the All-NBA team. 18 The Spurs won 62 games, good enough for the league's best record. However, things fell apart in the playoffs. During the second-round series against the Los Angeles Lakers, Rodman was suspended for insubordination for sitting on the floor with his shoes off during a timeout. Despite this, the Spurs advanced to the Western Conference Finals against their division rivals, the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had only recorded 47 wins and had to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win their previous series against the Phoenix Suns, but the team was the defending NBA champion, and it was thought that Rockets center Hakeem Olajuwon would have a hard time asserting himself versus Robinson and Rodman, who had both been voted into the NBA All-Defensive teams. The Spurs, however, were never able to stop Olajuwon as he averaged 35.3 points per game in the series. Rodman was particularly critical of Spurs coach Bob Hill's play calling, saying that he coached the playoffs like we were playing Minnesota in the middle of December and that his idea that Rodman should assist Robinson, who he accused of freezing up in big moments, in defending Olajuwon was counterproductive because it would force him off his man and leave the Spurs prone to giving up scoring opportunities. He even went off on the organization, including general manager Greg Popovich, in the locker room following a game, saying that everything they did sucked and that Hill was a loser. The Spurs would lose in 6 games, in a series Rodman said they could have and should have won. Rodman admitted his frequent transgressions, but asserted that he lived his own life and thus a more honest life than most other people. I just took the chance to be my own man. I just said, if you don't like it, kiss my ass. Most people around the country or around the world are basically working people who want to be free, who want to be themselves. They look at me and see someone trying to do that. I'm the guy who's showing people, hey, it's all right to be different. And I think they feel, let's go and see this guy entertain us. Chicago Bulls, 1995 to 1998. Third championship, 1995 to 1996. The United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls. Rodman wrote history in the 1996 NBA Finals when he twice secured 11 offensive rebounds in this building, tying an all-time NBA record. Before the 1995-96 season, Rodman was traded to the Chicago Bulls for center Will Perdue to fill a void at power forward left by Horace Grant, who had left the team before the 1994-95 season. Rodman could not wear number 10 jersey because the Bulls had retired it for Bob Love and the NBA denied him the reversion 01. Rodman instead picked the number 91, whose digits add up to 10. Although the trade for the already 34-year-old and volatile Rodman was considered a gamble at that time, the power forward quickly adapted to his new environment, helped by the fact that his best friend Jack Haley was also traded to the Bulls. Under coach Phil Jackson, he averaged 5.5 points and 14.9 rebounds per game, winning yet another rebounding title, and was part of the great Bulls team that won 72 of 82 regular season games, an NBA record at the time. About playing next to the iconic Jordan and co-star Scottie Pippen, Rodman said, "On the court, me and Michael are pretty calm, and we can handle conversation. But as far as our lives go, I think he is moving in one direction, and I'm going in the other. I mean, he's going north, I'm going south. And then you've got Scottie Pippen right in the middle. He's sort of the equator." Although struggling with calf problems early in the season, Rodman grabbed 20 or more rebounds 11 times and had his first triple-double against the Philadelphia 76ers on January 16, 1996, scoring 10 points and adding 21 rebounds and 10 assists. By playing his trademark tough defense, he joined Jordan and Pippen in the All-NBA defense first team. On March 16, 1996, Rodman had butted referee Ted Bernhard during a game in New Jersey. He was suspended for 6 games and fined $20,000, a punishment that was criticized as too lenient by the local press. In the 1996 playoffs, Rodman scored 7.5 points and grabbed 13.7 rebounds per game and had a large part in the six-game victory against the Seattle Supersonics in the 1996 NBA Finals. In Game 2 at home in the Bulls United Center, he grabbed 20 rebounds, among them a record-tying 11 offensive boards, and in Game 6, again at the United Center, the power forward secured 19 rebounds and again 11 offensive boards, scored 5 points in a decisive 12-2 Bulls run, unnerved opposing power forward. Shawn Kemp and Cavs Seattle coach George Karl to say, as you evaluate the series, Dennis Rodman won 2 basketball games. We controlled Dennis Rodman for 4 games. But Game 2 and tonight, he was the reason they were successful. His 2 games with 11 offensive rebounds each tied the NBA Finals record of Elvin Hayes. Rodman garnered much publicity for his public antics. In 1996, Rodman wore a wedding dress to promote his autobiography Bad As I Wanna Be, claiming that he was bisexual and that he was marrying himself. Suspensions and 4th championship, 1996 to 1997. In the 1996-97 season, Rodman won his 6th rebounding title in a row with 16.7 boards per game, along with 5.7 points per game, but failed to rank another all-defensive team call-up. However, he made more headlines for his notorious behavior. On January 15, 1997, he was involved in an incident during a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. After tripping over cameraman Eugene Amos, Rodman kicked Amos in the groin. Though he was not assessed a technical foul at the time, he ultimately paid Amos a $200,000 settlement, and the league suspended Rodman for 11 games without pay. Thus, he effectively lost $1 million. Missing another 3 games to suspensions, often getting technical fouls early in games, and missing an additional 13 matches due to knee problems, Rodman was not as effective in the 1997 playoffs, in which the Bulls reached the 1997 NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz. He struggled to slow down Jazz power forward Karl Malone but did his share to complete the 6-game Bulls victory. 5th ring and finals controversy, 1997 to 1998. The regular season of the 1997-98 season ended with Rodman winning his 7th consecutive rebounding title with 15.0 boards per game, along with 4.7 points per game. He grabbed 20 or more rebounds 11 times, among them a 29-board outburst against the Atlanta Hawks and 15 offensive boards, along with 10 defensive, versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Led by the aging Jordan and Rodman, respectively 35 and 37 years old, the Bulls reached the 1998 NBA Finals, again versus the Jazz. After playing strong defense on Malone in the first 3 games, he caused major consternation when he left his team prior to Game 4 to go wrestling with Hulk Hogan. He was fined $20,000, but it was not even 10% of what he earned with this stint. However, Rodman's on-court performance remained top-notch, again shutting down Malone in Game 4 until the latter scored 39 points in a Jazz Game 5 win, bringing the series to 3-2 from the Bulls' perspective. In Game 6, Jordan hit the decisive basket after a memorable drive on Jazz forward Brian Russell. The Bulls won their 3rd title in a row and Rodman his 5th ring. After the 1997-98 season, the Bulls started a massive rebuilding phase, largely at the behest of general manager Jerry Krause. Head coach Phil Jackson and several members of the team left via free agency or retirement, including Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, and Judd Buechler. Rodman was released by the Bulls on January 21, 1999, before the start of the lockout-shortened 1998-99 season. Los Angeles Lakers, 1999. With his sister acting as his agent at the time, Rodman joined the Los Angeles Lakers for a prorated salary for the remainder of the 1998-1999 season. With the Lakers, he played in only 23 games, in which he started in 11 of them and averaged 2 points and 11 rebounds per game and was released in the offseason. Dallas Mavericks, 2000. In the 1999-2000 season, the then 38-year-old power forward Rodman was signed by the Dallas Mavericks, returning Rodman to his hometown. Dallas had won 10 of 13 before his arrival, but went just 4-9 until he was waived by the Mavericks. He played 12 games, received 6 technical fouls, was ejected twice, and served a 1-game suspension. While averaging 14.3 rebounds per game, above his career average of 13.1, Rodman alienated the franchise with his erratic behavior and did not provide leadership to a team trying to qualify for their first playoffs in 10 years. Dallas guard Steve Nash commented that Rodman never wanted to be a Maverick and therefore was unmotivated. Long Beach Jam, 2003 to 2004. In 2005, Rodman played for Torpan Pojat of Finland's basketball league, the Korsliiga. After his NBA career, Rodman took a long break from basketball and concentrated on his film career and on wrestling. After a longer hiatus, Rodman returned to play basketball for the Long Beach Jam of the newly formed American Basketball Association during the 2003-04 season, with hopes of being called up to the NBA midseason. While he did not get that wish that season, he did help the Jam win the ABA championship in their inaugural season. Fuerza Regia, 2004. Rodman also played in Mexico, with Fuerza Regia in 2004. Orange County Crush, 2004 to 2005. In the following 2004-05 season, Rodman signed with the ABA's Orange County Crush. Tijuana Dragons, 2005 to 2006. Rodman played the following season with the ABA's Tijuana Dragons. In November 2005, he played 1 match for Torpan Pojat of Finland's basketball league, Korsliiga. Brighton Bears, 2006. The return to the NBA never materialized, but on January 26, 2006, it was announced that Rodman had signed a 1-game experiment deal for the UK basketball team Brighton Bears of the British Basketball League to play Guildford Heat on January 28, 56, and went on to play 3 games for the Bears. In spring 2006, he played 2 exhibition games in the Philippines along with NBA ex-stars Daryl Dawkins, Kevin Willis, Calvin Murphy, Otis Birdsong, and Alex English. On April 27th, they defeated a team of former Philippine Basketball Association stars in Mando City, Cebu, and Rodman scored 5 points and grabbed 18 rebounds. On May 1st, 2006, Rodman's team played their second game and lost to the Philippine national basketball team 110-102 at the Araneta Coliseum, where he scored 3 points and recorded 16 rebounds. On April 4th, 2011, it was announced that Rodman would be inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. I hope you enjoyed this video on Dennis Rodman. So like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep on collecting.